Welcome to the Alhambra, an extraordinary palatial city that rises above the Andalusian landscape overlooking the city of Granada in southern Spain. With its red-hued walls and intricate architecture, the Alhambra is a monument to centuries of history, culture, and craftsmanship. Declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1984, it is widely considered one of the most iconic examples of Islamic art and architecture in Europe. The name Alhambra comes from the Arabic Alcalá Alhambra, meaning the Red Fortress. Built on a steep hill with panoramic views of the Sierra Nevada mountains, it is not just one building, but a sprawling complex of palaces, fortresses, gardens, and courtyards. As you walk through this living museum, you're not only stepping into the world of Nasrid sultans, but also into the layered chapters of Spain's complex past. History. The origins of the Alhambra date back to the 9th century, when it was first established as a small fortress. However, its true transformation began in the 13th century, when Muhammad I, founder of the Nasrid dynasty, chose the hill of Sabika as the site for his royal court. Over the next century, his successors expanded the complex, constructing the palaces, walls, towers, and gardens we see today. The Alhambra served as both a royal residence and a seat of government for the Nasrid rulers. It embodied the sophistication of Islamic architecture and the political power of a dynasty holding out as the last Muslim kingdom in the Iberian Peninsula. In 1492, after nearly 8 centuries of Islamic rule in Spain, the Catholic monarchs Ferdinand and Isabella captured Granada. They entered the Alhambra, symbolizing the end of the Reconquista. While some parts of the complex were adapted to Christian use, much of the Islamic artistry remained intact. In the 16th century, Emperor Charles V constructed a Renaissance palace within the Alhambra walls. This addition, although strikingly different in style, reflected the desire of the Christian monarchs to imprint their legacy on the site. By the 18th century, the Alhambra had fallen into neglect. Parts of it were damaged by war and natural disasters. Restoration began in the 19th century, and thanks to decades of conservation work, visitors today can experience much of its former glory. Layout of the park. The Alhambra is not a single palace, but a vast walled city with distinct zones that each served a unique purpose during its time as a royal court. The layout is intentionally hierarchical, moving from the military and public functions to the deeply private and spiritual. As you enter, you'll pass through a series of defensive gates and winding paths, which gradually reveal different parts of the complex. The structure was designed not only for aesthetic pleasure, but also for protection, privacy, and political symbolism. There are 4 main areas to explore. The Alcazaba, a massive stone fortress with watchtowers and barracks used for defense and military operations. The Nasrid palaces, a group of interconnected royal buildings richly decorated with tilework, carved plaster, and wooden ceilings. The Palace of Charles V, a Renaissance-style residence inserted into the heart of the Islamic complex. The Generalife Gardens, located just outside the main walls, which served as a serene summer retreat for the sultans. All of these zones are connected by walkways, courtyards, and staircases. Water is a unifying theme throughout, not just for beauty or function, but as a symbol of paradise in Islamic art. Reflecting pools, channels, and fountains are placed with precision to mirror architecture and enhance acoustics. Light is equally important. Latticed windows, muqarnas ceilings, and open patios were all carefully designed to capture the shifting play of sun and shadow throughout the day. Key areas to explore. The Alcazaba. Located at the western tip of the Alhambra, the Alcazaba is the oldest part of the complex. Originally a simple citadel, it was later reinforced and expanded by the Nasrid rulers into a formidable military base. Its thick stone walls and towers offered both protection and strategic views over Granada and the surrounding countryside. The most prominent feature is the Torre de la Vela, or watchtower, which stands tall above the complex. From its summit, soldiers could observe both the city below and the mountain passes beyond. Inside the Alcazaba, you'll find the remains of homes, storehouses, and cisterns that once supported a community of guards and workers who lived within the fortress walls. Nasrid palaces. This is the architectural heart of the Alhambra, where the Nasrid rulers lived, governed, and entertained. The palaces are not a single building, but a series of interlocking structures that follow a specific ceremonial sequence, moving from public to private, from administrative to residential. You begin in the Mekshwar, a council hall where the Sultan conducted state affairs and received visitors. The design is more restrained here, but still features finely carved plaster and colorful Zellige tilework. Next is the Palace of Comares, home to the Hall of the Ambassadors, an awe-inspiring reception chamber with soaring ceilings and geometric woodwork. The room is perfectly symmetrical, with windows overlooking the courtyard below and inscriptions praising the Sultan's wisdom and divine right to rule. Finally, you enter the Palace of the Lions, the most famous and intimate of the palaces. At its center is the Court of the Lions, a rectangular courtyard encircled by slender columns and arched galleries. The central marble fountain, supported by 12 sculpted lions, is surrounded by living quarters and audience halls adorned with muqarnas vaults, painted ceilings, and poetic inscriptions. The Palace of Charles V. In stark contrast to the organic layout of the Nasrid palaces, the Renaissance Palace of Charles V is formal, geometric, and monumental. Its square exterior encloses a dramatic circular courtyard with 2 tiers of colonnaded galleries. The architecture is clearly influenced by classical Roman design, with thick stone columns, rusticated masonry, and monumental scale. Though its construction began in the 1500s, the palace remained unfinished for centuries. Today it houses 2 museums, one dedicated to Islamic art and the other to fine arts, offering further insight into the cultural layers of the Alhambra. The Generalife Gardens. Located on the slope across from the main palaces, the Generalife offered the Nasrid rulers a retreat from court life. Its name roughly translates to Garden of the Architect, and its design reflects an idealized version of paradise. As you walk through the gardens, you'll encounter pathways lined with cypress trees, tranquil courtyards, and gently flowing water channels that guide you through terraces of jasmine, myrtle, and roses. The Patio de la Sequía, or Court of the Water Channel, is the most emblematic feature. A long rectangular pool framed by flower beds and a white portico. The Generalife's buildings are simple and elegant, designed to harmonize with the landscape. The entire area feels lighter, more open, and more serene than the fortified sections of the Alhambra. The Alhambra is more than a monument. It is a tapestry of cultures, philosophies, and architectural ideas. Its beauty lies not just in its structures, but in the way it captures a vision of paradise on earth, through water, geometry, craftsmanship, and light. As you walk its pathways, listen to the silence of the gardens, the echoes of footsteps in stone halls, and the gentle ripple of fountains. This is a place built not only to impress, but to inspire, a bridge between the past and the present. Thank you for joining this guided journey through the Alhambra. May your visit be as unforgettable as the place itself.